Good morning. How do you feel when something unfair happens around you? Maybe someone gets rewarded for something they didn't do. Possibly someone gets into trouble for something that wasn't their fault. Or maybe another person seems to get something quite easily where you or I had to work really hard for it. This happened to someone in the Bible. Jesus had a conversation with Peter right at the end of his ministry on earth. And it went something like this in John 21 from verse 18. Jesus said to Peter, "I tell you the truth. When you were young, you were able to do as you liked. You dressed yourself, went wherever you wanted to go. But when you are old, you'll stretch out your hand and others will dress you and take you where you don't want to go." Jesus said this to let him know by what kind of death he would glorify God. Then Jesus told him, "Follow me." Peter turned around and saw behind them the disciple Jesus loved, the one who leaned over to Jesus during supper and asked, "Lord, who will betray you?" And Peter asked Jesus, "What about him, Lord?" And Jesus replied, "If I want him to remain alive until I return, what's that to you? As for you, follow me." In those first couple of verses, Jesus gave Peter some tough news. He told him about the hard road that lay ahead of him, and even about his death. But then he challenged Peter to still follow him anyway. And what was Peter's first reaction? He looked around at the people close to him. He compared his future with someone nearby and wanted to know if things were going to be fair. Jesus, what about him? He saw John and said, "Lord, what about John? Is he going to suffer like I'm going to suffer? Is he going to die like I'm going to die?" And let's be honest, we do the same. We see people around us who look like they're doing better than us, or maybe they look like they're doing worse than us. And we get distracted by the possibility that they might be being treated differently to us. They might be richer than us, and that bothers us. They might be poorer than us, that bothers us. They might be healthier than us, or sicker than us. Their loved ones might have recovered from an illness, or maybe their loved ones passed away. They might have been praised for something they didn't do, stole somebody else's credit, or they might have got into trouble for something that wasn't their fault. They might even get away with something that you got into trouble for because you did it. Look, there are 1,000 different scenarios that seem unfair to us. But how did Jesus respond to Peter when he questioned the fairness of somebody else's experience? Jesus simply said, "Peter, it's got nothing to do with you. You trust me and follow me no matter what happens around you." If we're honest, you and I don't have to give an account for anybody else. We will only have to explain our own thoughts, our motivations, and our actions. And when things seem unfair, and let's be honest, they will almost on a daily basis, don't get distracted. Those other things actually have nothing to do with us. God will sort them out. We must just do what is expected of us and follow Jesus the best we can. Remember Psalm 23, that beautiful psalm that is so well known? "The Lord is my shepherd. I've got all that I need. He lets me rest in green meadows. He leads me beside peaceful streams. He renews my strength. He guides me along right paths, bringing honor to his name. Even when I walk through the valley of, the darkest valley, or the valley of the shadow of death, I won't be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. You prepare a feast for me in the presence of my enemies. You honor me by anointing my head with oil. My cup overflows with blessing. Surely your goodness and unfailing love will pursue me all the days of my life, and I will live in the house of the Lord forever. In spite of what's going on around us and how unfair life seems, if we simply take the Lord's hand and just do what He guides us to do, He will take care of the rest and make sure we, you and I, if we follow Him, end up with a meaning and valuable life. Let's listen to Jesus' words to Peter. As for you, follow me. May the Lord strengthen you to follow Him in these days. God bless. Cheers.